Hey everyone, let's go through the process of writing a thematic statement. But first, as a quick reminder, let's talk about what theme is. When you're looking at theme, you're looking at a significant idea or statement the story is making about society, human nature, or the human condition. So theme is what is the author trying to say, or what message are they trying to convey through this story? Your statement is not going to be about specific characters or the plot in the story, but it's going to be very specific about the idea that the story talks about. So step one in writing a thematic statement is first finding the theme. How do you find the theme? You want to first read the story and pay close attention to the plot and all the story elements. Now, you might actually have specific literary elements that you're going to be focusing on to find the theme, but if not, a general way to find theme is to kind of look at and examine what's going on in the story. Is there anything reoccurring? Repetition is always a sign that something is very important. Look closely at how characters are developed. If their characterization plays a big role in a topic that you see over and over, or that seems very important as you read the story, or any other elements like the setting and how the description is used to describe all of these literary elements. Once you've read the story and you have thought about what might be important in the story, ask yourself, what do people learn from reading the story? What do you think that the overall message is? What is the author trying to say? And then you can start to brainstorm some topics that you think might be presented in the story. It's okay to go ahead and jot down maybe a list of thematic topics. Remember, topics are just one-word ideas or categories that a story might fall into. Here is a list of some examples. So these are not the only possibilities, but this can get you kind of thinking about what topics the story you just read might fall into. Once you have a list of possible topics that your story might fall into, think about, okay, what do you think the author is trying to say about the story using these topics? And what potential evidence or examples from the story could you use to prove each topic? Once you have chosen your topic, you're now ready to write your thematic statement. And this is where I would encourage you to use the example template that we're going to be talking about that's showing on your screen right here. Because when you're writing a thematic statement, you're connecting a story's topic with what the story reveals about this topic. So this template will help you in that mindset of putting your story topic, and then you're going to say leads to, and then you're going to include a revelation or what it reveals about that topic. So what is the author trying to say about that topic through the story that you just read? Let's look at an example of this template in action when writing a thematic statement. So if we had ambition as our thematic topic, and that's what we were going to choose to write about for our theme, putting it in the template, you would then say, okay, what about ambition is the author trying to say through this story? So an example that you see on your screen, ambition, and we probably want to make it a little bit more specific, so you can add in excess, so too much ambition. So ambition in excess leads to, and what would it lead to through the story, even though we don't have a story in front of us? We could say to a person's downfall. So maybe we have a character that has excessive ambition and it leads to their downfall or demise in the story. So ambition in excess leads to a person's downfall. You can put a period on it. Your thematic statement is a complete sentence and expresses a complete thought. Notice that we aren't including any character names or reference to a title of a story. Your thematic statement is about the topic that you chose, as far as what you think the story is about and what the author is saying about that topic. So once you have written your thematic statement, you then want to find evidence to be able to prove it. And if you can find examples in the story, and several of them, then that will let you know that your thematic topic in your statement is a pretty strong one that you're able to support with examples from the story that you were reading. So just kind of consider how can blank lead to blank? So whatever your thematic statement is, using examples from the text, see if you can pull out examples. Once you're able to find a good list or a good amount of examples from the story, and you want to go with that thematic statement, then your answers to support, or examples to support that thematic statement, are going to be what you use as textual evidence. Okay, and so that's what you're going to use to support your response in saying, if we go back to that example, ambition in excess leads to a person's downfall, your examples from the text, that's your textual evidence, that's what you're going to use to prove that you're right. Okay. Now it's your turn to practice writing a thematic statement. I do have a graphic organizer to use for this with a template on the blank leads to blank and that list of thematic topics that you can use to kind of get brainstorming on what your specific story might be about. Let me know if you have any questions.